Good afternoon and welcome to Wembley for the Littlewoods Challenge Cup final between Arsenal and Liverpool. It's a final with all the necessary ingredients. Two powerful teams with bulging trophy cabinets, steeped in tradition and success and littered with international players. Their supporters no less worthy, certainly in number and passion. And if you add a touch of north-south rivalry, you'll understand why the atmosphere is electric, the noise deafening and the level of expectancy high, to say the least, as Arsenal and Liverpool compete in a final of a competition which out of small beginnings has grown into a major event for this new trophy. Apparently the oldest and perhaps the largest of all current football silverware. Sharing the afternoon with us are Trevor Brooking, whose prediction will enable you to place your bets, probably on the other team, and Bobby Charlton, who will be alongside Barry Davies during the game, but from whom we welcome, I'm sure, an opinion on the way he sees things going. How's it going to go, Bob?
Well, I think it's going to be a very tight match, whatever happens. There are lots of things that can happen. I think really the performance of certain players, Williams, Bruce Grobbelaar, and I think particularly Alan Hansen, without Mark Lawrenson, I think they're important ingredients in this particular match. But you speak to Arsenal fans coming to the game, you know, and they would see it as almost a relief that Liverpool don't win another trophy, you know, not just for themselves, but for the game, because there's such a fantastic history over this last era that they actually hope that Arsenal will win, if for no other reason than Liverpool have become boring, they've been so successful. But I think it's a very tight game, and it revolves around the performance of maybe one or two players. Liverpool very experienced, and the young lads of Arsenal, I'm thinking in terms of Davies and Brocastle, whether they will perform in this sort of atmosphere, whether they can actually do the best in this sort of environment, I think really will be the crux of the whole thing.
Right, well now, so we, as I said, Trevor, what's it going to be? First, don't keep us in.
Well, most Arsenal supporters, I must admit, that I've met on the way have been begging me to tip Liverpool because of my recent record, and I don't want to let them down. Up until a week ago, I was definitely going to go for Liverpool. I wavered, I must admit, with Mark Lawrenson not being there. It means Ronnie Whelan's got to play left back, Nigel Spackman wide on the left. And really Arsenal's strength is down the right-hand side with Viv Anderson, David Rocastle, and so that'll be a key battle. But I think I don't want to let the Arsenal supporters down, so I'm going to go for Liverpool, I think.
Is that a prediction to make sure you keep up your losing run?
Keep up my run, that's right. Don't tell Liverpool supporters.
We shall see, but just a quick look at how the teams got to Wembley. Arsenal started by beating Huddersfield in a two-legger, followed by a run of 3 comfortable home wins, before finally overcoming their North London rival Spurs at the last gasp in the deciding game. As for Liverpool, as you can see, they narrowly squeaked home against Fulham, and Leicester beat Coventry at the second attempt, Everton at the first, and finally Southampton in their two-legged semi-final. Well, just to give you a result of an important promotion and relegation game today from Division 3, Darlington forced a 1-1 draw against Middlesbrough in front of 12,000 people at Ayresome Park. Right, now back to Wembley, and a man who's at the heart of things in the engine room, as you'd say, Bob Wilson.
Well, I'm getting a little bit of a suntan down here on the pitch. It's beautifully warm. There's a little bit of a breeze, but it's not going to cause any problem to the play. But let me just tell you that this Wembley surface today, I think, and most of the players believe, it's back to the old days. It's near perfect. And considering the rain that we've had in London over the last 24 hours, it's an amazing effort by the groundsman, Steve Tingley. Both camps are fairly confident, as you can imagine. Arsenal arrived first, no injury problems whatever. As for Liverpool, well, they've got all sorts of walking wounding, including Mark Lawrenson, and Lawrenson we hope to talk to later on. But just 2 or 3 little doubts, particularly about Steve McMahon and a groin injury.
And you can see there the players in the tunnel waiting to come out. A very nerve-wracking moment for all concerned. I said deafening earlier on, and you probably noticed that as Bob was bringing you up to date with the latest information and opinions from that level. Trevor, you've experienced this moment.
That's the most nerve-wracking moment, actually. You get up to there, and then they keep you waiting for the signal just over by the presentation area. And as you can see, the lads fidgeting, and the best sensation of the whole day is just when you walk out of that tunnel and then the whole ground erupts. And certainly with Arsenal, the younger lads, there's Martin Hayes, he doesn't look too disturbed, does he? But he's only a youngster. Paul Davies, who's been a really key player for them. And here they go, Jim.
Right, that's it as far as we're able to go in anticipation of events in the Littlewood Challenge Cup final. So for the reality, as the players come onto the field, we join Bobby Charlton again and your match commentator, Barry Davies.
Wembley this afternoon, a confusion of colour. Wherever you look, there are red and white flags. But for the first time, I believe, Arsenal have won the toss for the right to have their usual shirts. So they, this afternoon, will play in red, and their opponents will play in white. The running gag at Anfield these days is about the supporter who turned up for his Wembley tickets and said could he have his usual seat, and it's understandable. This is their 8th domestic final here in 10 years. Arsenal back in the stadium for the first time since the FA Cup final of 1980. For the occasion, an afternoon which does credit to the famous lines of Robert Browning. Pleasant sunshine adding to the green grass and the colours brought here by the supporters. And waiting to meet the teams is Sir John Moores, and a very special occasion this must be for the chairman of the Littlewoods organisation. Sir John, who is 92 years of age and who started his pools in collaboration with two friends back in 1923, the year in which the first cup final was played in this stadium, the FA Cup final, of course. And the players, you will note, lined up one team behind the other. This is to enable the players to go towards Sir John. Alan Hansen leading his team forward, introducing the colourful figure of Bruce Grobbelaar. Barry Venison, who played here for Sunderland, was the youngest captain at Wembley then. Craig Johnston, Gary Gillespie, the only debutants at Wembley in the Liverpool side. Nigel Spackman in rush, a special word for him. Will he have a special action for us? Philip Carter, the president of the Football League, nearest the camera. Ronnie Whelan, who tends to do well here. The Big Dane, and the manager and substitute, one of the two allowed bringing up the rear, Kenny Dalglish. An ambition achieved for the Arsenal captain, Kenny Sansom. Always wanted to captain a side at Wembley. This moment arrives today. John Lukic, Viv Anderson, David Rocastle, Stevie Williams, the one who you may have noted was standing out of line. He always likes to do things his way. Was in the tunnel. Another Man Mountain. A man whose head they'll certainly be looking for, Niall Quinn. Alongside Charlie Nicholas, Perry Groves, one of the substitutes, and David O'Leary, formerly captain but now likes to be the last man. And here the very smart, as usual, George Graham. And the officials, Lester Shapter, the referee, introducing Brian Hill, who is the reserve referee and who would come on if there was an injury for the referee. and his two linesmen, David Keane from Reading and Fred Young from York. Mr. Shapter, former policeman. Certainly a very colourful Sunday afternoon out. Check on the two teams. First, a look at Arsenal, who are wearing, as I said, the red shirts. Three players who played here in Wembley finals before. David O'Leary, who played in the 3 FA Cup finals on the trot. Viv Anderson, who's played here for Nottingham Forest, indeed played against Liverpool in this competition, and Steve Williams on the losing side for Southampton against Nottingham Forest. But a young side that has served Arsenal so well this season, irrespective of what happens this afternoon. Liverpool's 19 winning medals are amassed by 6 players, with Kenny Dalglish having played in all 4 successes. Rush didn't play in the first one here, but he did play in the replay. But they've lost 3 of their back 4 compared with last May in the FA Cup final. Jim Beglin, Mark Lawrenson and Steve Nicol are all injured, as is Kevin McDonald. So if you add to that the fact that Kenny Dalglish is on the substitutes bench, there are 5 changes between last May and this April. And here's the man who so many people feel will make the headlines, making perhaps his last appearance here at Wembley, and that fantastic record, which includes 3 goals this season in the Littlewoods competition. Charlie Nicholas, who I think it's fair to say gets rather more publicity than his actual achievements may deserve, but this is surely a setting for him. Gary Gillespie, who was expecting to play in the FA Cup final but was taken ill the night before, now gets his chance. And number 7 there, David Rocastle, the man whose goal in the dying seconds of the 3rd match in the semi-final contest against Tottenham brought Arsenal to Wembley. The photographers awaiting the arrival of the 2 skippers. Already on the benches, the managers and their assistants and the physiotherapists. Ronnie Moran at the far end, Gary Lewin, the physiotherapist of Arsenal, nearest to camera. George Graham taking a central position on the ground, where I am still convinced he scored for Arsenal in 1971. Although the record books give it to Eddie Kelly. Alan Hansen, who in his first season as captain led Liverpool to the FA Cup and the Football League double. Now leading his side in the first Littlewoods Cup final, the 27th League Cup final in all. And his opposite number, Kenny Sanson. And they pose with what the refereeing fraternity like to have referred to as the 3rd team on the park for the official throwing of the coin. And Sir John Moores passing the Liverpool chairman. John Smith to take his seat in the royal box. Former chairman of Everton, and over the years with a number of shares in Liverpool as well. Leicester Shapter comes from Torquay in Devon. Has one more season after this on the list. Arsenal with their supporters behind them in every sense. The standing number massed behind the right-hand goal. And an early touch for the Liverpool goalkeeper Bruce Grobbelaar. And the backs of Anfield are behind him. First challenge between Sanson and Craig Johnston. Hayes, and the first offside decision. And let us hope there won't be too many of those. Both teams coming into the final with problems with their form. Arsenal can't score goals, only managed one in 9 games. Liverpool beaten in their last 2 league games, and that hasn't happened since autumn '84. There's a spare boot on the pitch, you may have noticed, and it's never happened under the reign of Kenny Dalglish at defeat in 2 consecutive games. The boot belongs to Craig Johnston and is reclaimed. That's a great little turn, but he showed a bit too much. Gillespie wearing number 2, playing in the centre of the defence as expected. Barry Benison wearing number 3, playing at right back. Rush. Johnston with 2 feet. He used the right one that wasn't actually done up. First challenge by Steve Williams. Paul Davies under pressure from Venison. Paul Walsh played here in the Charity Shield in '84. That's a poor ball. Grobbelaar has come to meet it. Molby, the man who turned the FA Cup final against Everton. That's a useful ball by McMahon to Rush. Well, the pass was a great deal better than the finish, it should be said. And I hesitate to say it about such a quality striker, but he was in a little bit of a rush then, but not in the sense that we usually see. Hayes. Arsenal yet to build on the right, and it'll be interesting to see how well they do there. David O'Leary. Free kick. Good decision. Stevie Williams turning his back and turning away in similar fashion from the referee. But little doubt, I would think, about the verdict. Four forward for Liverpool. Spackman on the left side. John Lukic hasn't missed a game all season. Brent. Davis. Adams to Hayes. Grobbelaar available with the big right hand out. Calling for the ball. Barry Venison was only 20 years and 7 months when he captained Sunderland here a couple of years ago. They were beaten by Norwich City. sometimes the long clearances of John Lukic can be quite a telling weapon for Arsenal. Hardly a breath of wind. It's not one of his better ones, really. Met by Ronnie Whelan. Johnson was pushed forward. So is Walsh. Sheer physical presence of David O'Leary, sufficient for the task. And the first 5 minutes have elapsed. No score. And here is the first free kick that could pose any danger. Walsh taking a central position, Rush just behind him. And I think we're going to have a change of ball. Two referees confer. And a couple of questions might be asked as to why that one lasted barely 6 minutes of the match. Came off Davies' hands, but quite inadvertently. Mulby trying to spread it out. Spackman. That's nicely done. Gillespie. Out by Kenny Sansom. Good tidying up by Mulby. The intention was right from Venison. He was trying to get Walsh through. Useful from Rocastle. On to Hayes. And the first corner of the 27th League Cup final, the first for the Littlewoods Cup, goes to the London team. Craig Johnson covering the near post. Goal kick.
Very interesting there that Niall Quinn was unopposed from a corner kick. Alan Hansen did lose him, and the absence of Mark Lawrenson obviously going to be very important when it comes to cross balls like that.
Tremendous length of clearance, and Rush has got away from O'Leary. Here's Craig Johnston! Brilliant stop! Craig Johnston turns in disbelief. Really was a very good stop by John Lukic. An excellent ball. O'Leary seemed to have it slip slightly, but it was very well claimed, in fact, by Rush. And here comes Craig Johnston. What a good save. Couldn't have been closer. Solidly out by Adams. Mulby. Whelan. Plenty of space for Craig Johnston. Walsh in the middle, so is Rush. Gillespie, and the flag up for offside. But I'm sure John Lukic will be feeling in fine fettle now. To make a save like that so early in the match is such a boost for a goalkeeper's morale, particularly one who last week made a mistake against Everton that cost Arsenal the match. The linesman agrees, but not until the ball went out of play, reasonably enough. David Keane on this side. Hasn't had too far to come, just down the M4 from Reading. Anderson. Little push by Hansen. Well, a nice little flick on too by Niall Quinn. Free kick, almost dead centre. And around 25 yards. Charlie Nicholas might be prepared to try for the curler. Arsenal got 3 behind the wall. Nicholas, bit of a daisy cutter, well played by Williams, took Rush out of it. Rocastle, 5 Arsenal players waiting, not a good cross. Williams, it's hanging a bit. Now, Quinn appeal to the referee, but I don't think really there was any infringement upon Martin Hayes. 10 minutes gone and the last 5 seem to go quicker than the first 5. But still no score. I've wondered all week whether the fact that the teams have not been in such good form would in fact produce a more open final. But in a curious way, the pressures might be taken off the level of expectancy. It's quite a promising start, I think. Bit of hesitation on the ball by 2 players then.
Yeah, we've got a cracking match on our hands here. The young Arsenal players in midfield, Davies, Rocastle, Williams, all closing the men down and not giving Liverpool the time and the space that they want. Added to that, the pace that Rush has given them up front is a tremendous thing for Liverpool, and something that Arsenal really have to worry about. Anything sent from the back is going to be a big problem. He's so fast.
Well, this is the side I always like to see when Alan Hansen comes forward. He's one of the best carriers of the ball in the game. Jan Mulby. The flag stayed down, and rightly. And Steve McMahon gets the flag now for an offside against Arsenal. McMahon, incidentally, the only Merseysider in the Liverpool team. And he started his career across Stanley Park at Everton. Kenny Sansom got himself caught a bit too far forward. Recovered quickly. Davies. Oh! Just enough to put a bit of concern at the Arsenal end, I would have thought. Whelan came to meet it rather untidily. Free kick given against him. Forced into this left-back position. Said for many years that Liverpool were vulnerable at full-back. Not too many people were capable of proving the point. Quinn and Gillespie, and Quinn is causing a few problems, and Gillespie, I think, is still fitting the mark that he got pretty early on. Craig Johnston. But where's he going? Well, he gets a free kick off Williams, which the referee will have taken in his time. Stevie Williams, a couple of infringements by him. And it's interesting that Alan Hansen said this week that if Williams plays well, then the game could go Arsenal's way. Hansen was up. Whelan couldn't take it with him. Williams. Nicholas. Rush, another good long ball from the back. And Liverpool using the long ball with intelligence, and the suspicions are that Anderson wasn't too happy about the cover there, and he'd be right, wouldn't he? Gillespie very keen to get to the ball before Quinn. Johnston. O'Leary. Very lucky that it fell to Viv Anderson. Rocastle, 2 up against 2. Venison now puts the odds in favour of the defenders. Free kick against Ronnie Whelan. Referee wants a word. And so does George Graham. But on different subjects, he no doubt will be delighted to see that the youngest player on the pitch, David Rocastle, still 19, is prepared to run at people at Wembley too, and this is the place to run at people. And this free kick coming on the quarter of an hour point. Robillard takes it cleanly. Mulvey. Mistake by Kenny Sansom, who took a swing at it. 3 up on the far side. Mulvey on the dog trap. But the Arsenal skipper Kenny Sansom has made quite a nervous start to this final. Really took a swing at it and enabled Johnson to try to build. It eventually came to Mulvey, and the end was a bit of a disappointment from Liverpool's point of view. And Kenny Sansom will be pleased that he's got away with the error.
Well, Craig Johnson, one of the strongest, fastest runners, and if anyone's going to stretch Kenny Sansom, it will be him. Fortunately, they shot off target that time.
Charlie Nicholas thought that the strength of his shirt had been tested. Ronnie Whelan, Rocastle across there quickly, but again the long ball played from the back, and again the recipient is Rush. 3 against 3 across the 18-yard line. This is Ronnie Whelan, offside against Walsh. Good organisation of the Arsenal defence. Nobody really likes to see the offside flag, but there are moments, and that was one, when that tactic is perfectly fair. It's when it's done 10 yards inside the half that it gets on one's nerves.
Arsenal, I don't think, is adept at the offside trap as Liverpool, and Rush also had a look then before he actually got into his position. He read it well.
The power in the header. Sansom. Craig Johnson. This time he's beaten in the shadows, or is he? Yes, the free kick is Arsenal's way. Head of Quinn, covered by Whelan, snuck a bit between the ankles. Sanson needed to let it bounce. If he'd have just put his head to it, he would have given the ball away immediately to Johnston. Some causing problems for Theo Foley. Bob Paisley down there on the bench for Liverpool, you notice, in the centre with the suit. Kenny Dalglish on the right as Whelan. Johnston. McMahon was looking for somebody left side. Nobody offered. Adams with a gentle lollop. Hayes has given that away. Hayes hasn't been able to get into the match yet. Walsh offside.
When you look at the Arsenal back four, Tony Adams and O'Leary seem to have little disagreements about who's marking who. That particular time, Kenny Sanson was pulled inside, and had Craig Johnson been spotted on the right-hand side of the field, would have created a terrible problem for the Arsenal defenders.
It's always understandable, Bobby. Nobody wants to mark Ian Rush, but they're going to have to, of course. Nice try by Rocastle. Adams. Oh. That was very, very tight. Quinn again gets his body in front of the defender. Hayes a little bit slow to move. I think the legs are a little bit leaden. Martin Hayes at the start. Can happen to players at Wembley. He's one of the youngsters in this side, if you can call 21 a youngster. Certainly in terms of experience. So nearly went to Huddersfield in the autumn. Oh, his season changed, and he's the top scorer on the club. Rush, free kick against Adams. Adams is with Rush now, O'Leary with Walsh. That's how it's been for most of the time. But, the two front players have varied their runs. Rush has appeared a lot on the left. Walsh did then, for about the second or third time. Mulvey has run into the crowd. Anderson hasn't been able to attack yet, but he's looking to do so now. Arsenal have left 4 up. Offside. He's come inside, he's got a little bit of room, it's gone the other way, it's a bit short. Rush, Mulvey, that's a great ball, this is Steve McMahon, O'Leary coming across, he's led Rush. It's such a familiar sight. Arsenal caught absolutely dead. The ball to McMahon. Look at O'Leary. He comes across here. Nobody is getting to Rush. And all that started very early on when Arsenal had too many men caught forward. They didn't get back in midfield. The back four was exposed. And Rush, as ever, finds the finish. And Arsenal now will be desperately trying to get out of their mind that infernal statistic. The goal in the 23rd minute. Rush's 202nd in his Liverpool career, in which he's played in a cup final every season. And it's set forward the Anfield chorus behind Bruce Grobbelaar's goal. Long ball again. Walsh straight to Lukic. McMahon, the man whose run made it. Mulvey, space on the left for Nigel Spackman. Time to look up. Rush in the middle. So is Walsh far side. This is McMahon, and that's a balloon.
I think there's a tremendous psychological barrier now that Arsenal have to overcome, particularly with the young players. It's not gone well for them in the middle of the field. Mulvey and McMahon have been winning all the tackles, all the 50-50 balls, and it was just a case of Williams now has to get the team together, the experienced lads of Arsenal, and get these young lads running. Otherwise, it could be slightly embarrassed, because Liverpool are well and truly on top and enjoying every minute of it.
And I think it is interesting to note that goal scored by Ian Rush in the 23rd minute is the first goal that Liverpool have ever scored in the first half of a cup final. So many of their finals have gone to extra time, and the earliest goal was scored by Jimmy Case in the final of '77, when in the end Liverpool lost. That came in the 52nd minute. Here's Alan Hansen. Good stretch by Anderson. Walsh. Charlie Nicholas has got to make up his mind rather quicker than that. And barely a flag is waved. And you must know which end we're looking at. But Arsenal were dead against Tottenham. Nicholas. You remember they were behind in the first leg against Tottenham. They were 2-0 down on aggregate. They came back to take it to a third match. And they were going out of the cup with just 8 minutes left, and they made it to the final. Johnston for Liverpool. Mulvey. Whelan. Arsenal yet to get the right side going, and apart from all the other problems, a lot of that is due to the performance of Nigel Spackman. This is Ronnie Whelan able to appear in the midfield with Spackman covering him. But Spackman, who really isn't considered as a left side midfield player, is filling that role and denying Arsenal space down the left. There he is now, number 4. Quinn, that's a nice turn. Nicholas. Davies. Well, the first test, it seemed, but in fact, not so. Well struck, but Grobbelaar didn't touch it. And it looked as though it came off the outside of the post. And that's increased the number of flags waving at the right-hand end. Very fluent shot from a very fluent player, Paul Davies. I suspect Bruce Grobbelaar might have been a bit surprised to find that it made contact with the woodwork. Push by Hansen. A slight ache of the jaw for Niall Quinn. Ronnie Whelan having a few words. That's looking down from our camera behind Bruce Grobbelaar's goal. In great need of a strike. May go through the legs to Davies or for Nicholas. Look at them poised. You think it was just out of 100 metres. Davies hit the wall. Sanson. Anderson. Adams. Nicholas off the post. Anderson. Yes, it's gone in. It's Charlie. Charlie Nicholas has done it. What a succession of near things before Charlie Nicholas becomes the hero of the North Bank and most of North London. Anderson initially, Adams got the touch there, up came Nicholas. Nicholas. It came off the post. Anderson out again. Nicholas makes the touch here, and it's 1-1. And somebody needs to tell George Graham, it would appear from that picture, that his team has just scored. Not a flicker of the eyelid. And the observation's been made, and it's a good one, that neither did the eyelid flicker when they went behind. Always was a cool customer. That's outside the box. Is in the middle. Walsh is just behind him. 3 to come from the far side. And I think an offside in the end.
Well, what a change round, eh? Who would have believed it? But they've got the little break they wanted. Arsenal. They're back in the game, and that's the thing that's going to lift them.
It might not go amiss to remind you, if you were watching BBC's Grandstand yesterday, the two main personalities we talked to in previewing this Littlewoods Cup final were Ian Rush and Charlie Nicholas. Ronnie Williams clearance. Paul Davies. Kenny Sansom. Good cover by Craig Johnston. Johnson, who's just produced a video called Pride of Merseyside, backed by the record that he also produced. Venison. Johnson again. Good challenge by Hayes. Venison. Free kick. Quite right, Mr. Shapter. Saw the Nicholas. He'll turn it on now if he possibly can. Davies. Got a bit of a knock there though, Nicholas, as you can see. Davies. I think that's going to be handball against Noah Quinn. But Nicholas is surely in need of some attention. There's the physio, Gary Lewin.
What a difference a goal makes. Now you can see all the young Arsenal players actually wanting the ball. They were all hiding initially. I think maybe it was nerves, but once they've got that little break now, they've all relaxed. They all want to play in this game.
Substitute we saw warming up was Perry Groves. Good play by Davies. He's going to have to do a bit more. And he completed the job with some style. if that's what he intended. A little bit pulled that side. There's nothing on the left. Arsenal at the moment, of course, with 10 men. And there are 10 minutes left of the first half. Ronnie Whelan. Nobody wide on the right. Nicholas set to return with a bandage round his right ankle. Nicholas and the man in possession here, Kenny Sansom, apart from the three I mentioned at the start, and have of course appeared at Wembley in international matches. Only three in the starting lineup with experience of cup finals. Gillespie. Offside, Ian Rush. Sansom. Nicholas. Spackman. Challenged by Williams as a foul. Andrew Spackman playing only his 9th game for Liverpool since his transfer from Chelsea. And lucky not to have been cup-tied with the London club. Unlike John Aldridge, who isn't available because he played for Oxford. Handball, I think. Nice to see a smile between a player and the referee. My ears serve me correctly. He called out Kenny as if to say, you don't think I'm going to miss a handball as obvious as that, do you? Both teams taking a little bit of a breather at the moment. Does tend to get sucked in a bit. Seems to me it'd be better to take a wider position. Venison. Goal kick.
I think the players down there are feeling the legs a little, and if they can get a chance to actually just play on the ball for a while, give themselves a little breather, they're going to do it, seeing that half-time's not too far away. But I must say, the lad with the ball here is going to have a big influence. Williams. He is one of the good two-footed players in the team. Plays the ball well on the floor. Very astute. Looks for openings up front. And he's the type of player really that Liverpool don't have. And I'm not surprised that Alan Hansen said he would be a major factor in this game. I think Arsenal would really depend on him.
Telling his skipper to give it to John Lukic. Hayes. First break for him. Nicholas just inside. Quinn far side. That's nicely played to Nicholas. But Quinn wanted it played on instantly. But here's Anderson. Here's Quinn in the same position as he was before. Turned away by Hansen and then on by Mulby. Just a boot forward, but immediately it puts the Arsenal back three, as it happened, under a certain amount of pressure. Adams. Davies. Anderson. chance challenge. 5 minutes left. And if you've just joined us, where have you been? Let me tell you, if you are late to the match, the score is 1-1. You've missed a good first half. Liverpool scoring first, Arsenal equalising to the man in possession now, Charlie Nicholas. Perhaps don't need to tell you who scored for Liverpool, but I will. It was Ian Rush. Rocastle, Davies. Bit too tight, Rush. How deep he is. Williams made a break on the left side. There he is. Gillespie is coming forward into the area, number 2, but he came for the one towards the near post and it was hit towards the back post. Williams. Anderson. Rocastle. Nicholas on for Anderson. Nicholas took it well in stride. To pull it back to, away by Gillespie. But at this stage, the greater imagination is coming from the London team. Nicely done by Mulvey. Will skip out of trouble. Johnston. Pace is picked up again. McMahon. Well, beautifully read by Williams. Rocastle is a mile offside. And the flag backs the commentator's observation. And 3 minutes from half-time. And you're looking there, as he got to his feet, at a growing influence in the contest. Stevie Williams, sometimes suspect of temperament, but few doubt his ability. David Rocastle, you may have seen, just getting some attention. Davis. Bit blind. And Rocastle comes sprinting back. Whelan. Mulvey, nicely done. Spackman, McMahon. That's Liverpool's turn to push the ball around, but it's come to an end. Claimed by Johnston and claimed well. Rush. Hayes. Walsh chasing Hayes, and still Nicholas very nearly got through, but Ronnie Whelan stumbled his way out of trouble. Mulvey. Williams and Mulvey not looking like getting back. But he still hasn't. Anderson in possession. Still, Liverpool have got 7 players back. One of them McMahon, who can feed Mulvey. Now to turn defence into attack. They're playing the last minute of a first half, which has matched the weather quite in the extreme. McMahon. Walsh. Rush just behind. That's a good turn by Walsh. Williams to Adams. To Nicholas, to Davis. Hayes is more inclined to start from wider in these last few moments. Challenge was by Gillespie, shot was by Hayes. Got a deflection, it will be a corner. And just a couple of stoppages. Mr. Shakhtar looks at his watch. Johnson again, putting his curly locks on the near post. Williams to take it. Time for the corner and not much more. I would think Hayes is in front of Grobbelaar. Rocastle, well, he had to have a dig. And the last shot of the half is at Liverpool's end. Liverpool have got it in the second half the way they like it at Anfield, in that they are attacking the end where their popular support is. The tackle by Adams. Came off Walsh. And Lukic taking no chances at all. But he still couldn't get it out of play. Remember, his missed kick which decided the league match at Highbury last week against Everton. One or two concentrations, haven't sharpened up yet. And here's Rush, offside. Very tight decision. Couldn't have been too much in that one. Fred Young of York on this side now. Hansen. Good player, always has the time to look up. Walsh instantly played off. Good cover by Davies. Walsh again. McMahon. Attackers outnumber defenders. Mulvey. McMahon. It will come to Johnston, but only for the throw, and in fact the throw is given the other way. Johnston, Frizzy B. McMahon. McMahon battling for the ball and appealing at the same time. But the appeal falls on deaf ears. The verdict goes the other way. Taken quickly by Williams. To Sansom. And he gave it to Mulvey. Rush. Pass and return again. Look at the pace. O'Leary comes across as he has to and does his job well. But Rush had already picked up pace on Adams. Johnston coming up to be available for the throw, indeed to take it. He can get the long one if he wants it. He doesn't. Benison. Hunched shoulders. But his control let him down. Benison again. Arsenal pushing up. Whelan is offside. Flag is up this side. And Whelan not the first player to protest to a referee, but not realising that when the pass was made he was standing clearly offside. The player, that is, not the referee. Anderson.
Well, it seemed as though Liverpool were settling into the same pattern as the first half, knocking the ball about quite well. Ronnie Whelan coming up there to supplement his forwards, but got himself offside in the process. The difference being that Liverpool haven't scored in this period while they've been on top. Nevertheless, they seem to have settled down and obviously taken a lot more notice of the manager's half-time talk. But here we go again with Arsenal. Charlie Nicholas.
Two waiting in the middle. Spackman. Walsh looks to see where Rush is. And there he made it his, then didn't know what had happened to it. And this is Nigel Spackman. Rush to the right. Free kick for the trip. And the referee will have words. Rush furious. And a bit of an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation. Spackman who went through. And O'Leary, quite a blatant trip. Kenny Dalglish doesn't need too great an excuse to be on his feet. And we've had 5 minutes of the second half. If you joined us since the half-time interval, let me tell you that the score is 1-1. Liverpool scoring first through Rush. The equalizer coming from Nicholas. The goals in the 23rd and 30th minutes. And McMahon, nobody actually around the ball, but one of these two is going to have a crack at it. And it will be Mulby looking for the corner. Angry space belongs to Kenny Dalglish. Here Foley just chews on. Subtle touch. He'd have struggled to make it, to be fair. For a big man, he's got a very soft touch when it's needed. It may need the refurbishments that it's going to get, Wembley Stadium, but it's still a magnificent setting. A few changes before the cup finals of next year, including some executive boxes. Paul Davies, the new owner incidentally, is a Liverpool supporter. Rush. Anderson goal side. O'Leary. Oh, that's not well done by O'Leary. Walsh. Johnston over to the right if anybody sees him. Spackman might. Hayes a little bit slow to cover the area. Really didn't do much service for his side there. Just got in the way, Hayes, without ever being in a position to make a challenge. But it was O'Leary's mistake that started it. Liverpool well on top again. Johnston looking for the short one when he gets it. Whelan. And Lukic having to move his feet very quickly indeed. Even at 6'4", he was struggling to make contact with that. Just behind him, Walsh on the penalty spot, Spackman number 4 this side, Gillespie number 2, Spackman who comes with it, and John Lukic came an awful long way, but at least once committed kept going, but he was beaten by the flight of the ball. These are nervous moments for Arsenal. Rush is offside.
Well, I don't like repeating myself, but it just seems exactly like the first half. The midfield players of Arsenal, young Paul Davies and Rocastle, seem to be feeling the legs a little and they're not getting into the match. Steve Williams, who should be really instrumental in setting up things and keeping things together, seems to have lost it. Liverpool winning everything in the middle of the field. Having said that, they haven't scored. Can Arsenal find some reserves of strength to pull themselves back into this game and get the ascendancy again?
Davies. Hayes has never attacked them on the outside at any stage that I can remember. Sansom, Hayes, Anderson. Oh, it bobbled a bit. Oh, no. Well, I'm glad he didn't protest, because, quite frankly, that must have been close to a booking for the Arsenal player for blatant acting. The ball bobbles here. The defender comes across, and look at Anderson. He has no intention of doing anything other than trying to con the referee.
Never listened to Duncan Goodhue there.
So just past the 10-minute point of the second half, still 1-1. Arsenal, after a very quiet opening to the second period, starting to show again. Whelan. Walsh. Rush is in the inside right position. Spackman in the middle. Rush brushed his head, comes to Johnston. Spackman, I think that was probably aimed for McMahon, who was moving behind Spackman. Williams wants it left side. Hayes hasn't made up his mind. He's got to go on his own now. But to put it mildly, he lacked a bit of pace. McMahon going rather quicker. Rush to the left. Oh! And the brush of the brow and the brush of the post. And John Lukic and George Graham will be hugely relieved. Canny piece of play. And there was a difference then between young Martin Hayes and the more experienced Steve McMahon, who is not that much older, 25 to 21, but McMahon made up his mind what he was going to do. Martin Hayes didn't. In fact, Martin Hayes had run at the defence, could have gone on with a bit of pace and caused them a lot of trouble, but didn't appreciate the fact. Well, it's April the 5th, not November the 5th, but somebody's given us a firecracker. Rush. Mulby. Johnston's cross. It's a magnificent claim. Didn't look as though he was going to be able to do it. Lucky he started halfway up to the sky, but even so, it was a very good leap and catch. Davies. Three forward for Arsenal. Davies. Robillard. Slightly curious bounce that. And Walsh took it away from Kenny Sansom, who was rescued by young Adams. It's taken quickly. Hansen is coming forward. Whelan, plenty of white shirts there. Adams again. Mulby. Anywhere will do. Arsenal under pressure once more. Spackman offering width left side. Whelan trying to find the killer ball through the middle. Davies. Hayes immediately runs in, but he's asking Davies an awful lot to take on three players on the left side. But he's going to do that. Hansen two of them. Nicholas. What a work rate of Craig Johnston. Nobody is more keenly aware of Liverpool pride and Mersey pride than this man, albeit the fact that he was born in South Africa and is credited as being an Australian.
There's a great illustration that of the difference between the two teams. You feel that Liverpool, when they're playing, always have people in support. Arsenal that time, Paul Davies had a terribly long run. He was obviously very tired, but the support was a long time coming.
We've had an hour of the contest. The score is 1-1. Liverpool well on top. Arsenal here in possession. Rocastle. Nicholas, Rocastle. Crowded out. Did well. Rush. Mulby, great control by Rush. And he's gone for the return, which Adams cuts out. And wins for the second time. Williams, good ball. Nicholas. Quinn making the diagonal run. Nobody else filling in. Nicholas. And still. Trying to beat the law of averages as well as find defenders. Nicholas once more. Nicholas still. No. Says the referee. Well, that one was a great deal closer than the previous one. But Nicholas squirming through everything. It's Gillespie who makes the challenge. No, the referee was 100% right. The referee had to make his decision first time. I got the advantage of a second look. Hayes. Trip by Johnston.
Yeah, it's great end-to-end stuff now, Barry. And Liverpool under the cosh a little bit. A few of the players trying to calm it down and play them way out of a defensive situation there, which got them in all sorts of problems, and nearly let Charlie Nicholas in.
Flags being waved at the Arsenal end. 5 gunners in attacking positions. 9 Liverpudlians to try and get the marking right, and they didn't. And that was a rather unlike Liverpool piece of defence. Walsh trying to run Williams. Good advantage play by Mr. Shapter, but not a good cross by Walsh. Hayes. Will keep possession, not quite in the way intended. Rocastle. Quinn pulls away. Mulby. Johnston. Injection of pace. Rush and O'Leary moving around. Actually got a man over Liverpool. Walsh on the near side. Rocastle. Nicholas. Anderson forward a little reluctantly. Lovely tag. The referee saw that as accidental.
Playing advantage the referee, and I must say I quite agree with it. It does tend to keep the game more exciting when you don't keep stopping it for incidental little things. Don't tell that to Charlie Nicholas, though.
Bruce away. Rush and Adams. Good challenge. In those sort of positions, it needs to be. And hasn't got his geography lost a bit then. Davies. Offside. Charlie perhaps suggesting that it's got to be a little bit quicker. Arsenal here playing in their third final of this League Cup competition, beaten on the two previous occasions by Leeds United in 1968 when George Graham played. In 1969 they lost to Swindon when Graham came on as a substitute, and there was sackcloth and ashes after that. But 2 years later, with 7 of the same players, Arsenal won the double, beating Liverpool in the final here. We've had 20 minutes of the second half of this Littlewoods final between the same two teams. It's 1-1, which at one stage it was in that 71 final, and it was Arsenal who got the winner, and by George they got the winner. This is Anderson. And I think Bruce is pleased to have got into the action. Rush. Determination. We'll need all of that in Italy. Free kick against Williams. It's taken. McMahon and Sanson would have felt that. Barry Venison. Good ball. Walsh. Bouncing up. Davies. Hayes making more runs from deep positions. But still not quite timing when he should release the ball. McMahon. One of those to go into this match carrying a knock. Oh. Nicholas Prayers answered. And the Arsenal physio wanted to get into the act. Davies. No way, says to Rocastle. Spackman and Whelan on this line. It's a great ball. Nicholas! What a moment to miss kick. Sansom. Anderson is forward again. And Whelan! Well, you can say he had faith in his goalkeeper. 999 players out of 1,000 would have put that out surely for the corner. But he invited Grobbelaar to crawl on all fours to get it. But I think it's interesting, Bobby, that twice in the last 2 or 3 minutes we've seen Anderson attacking in the last third.
That's what Viv Anderson is very good at. He's coming forward, he's picked his spot inside the back and timed his run well. And it's created two terrific problems for Liverpool. The first time, actually, he wasted it with a silly cross. That time, much more positive. And Charlie, if he'd have had a little time, I realised the amount of time that he had would have made a better job of it and probably would have had a shot at goals. There again, the confidence that Whelan put in Bruce Grobbelaar really was a little unfounded by any stretch of the imagination. He should have put it out. I think at the other end of the ground all the Liverpool supporters breathed a sigh of relief when it didn't hit the net.
It's the Anfield anthem. I think we're going to see the boss. Kenny Dalglish preparing to come on as a substitute, and if he does so, he'll set a new record for the club of 15 appearances at Wembley in club competitions. The moment he shares that at 14 with Phil Neal. Here's Ronnie Whelan, scored 3 times in League Cup finals. Jan Mulby. Whelan. Forced out of it by Anderson. Rocastle. And try again. Davies. Sansom moving up to the left. It's all a bit bunched down the middle. Arsenal have 3. Liverpool have lots. Nicholas. It's a bit of a tease. Corner. "20 minutes left on an increasingly warm afternoon." That's in terms of the game. I'm not defying the rules of the weather. 1-1 the score. Adams on the near post, pulls away. Quinn. Nicholas. Well, he's delaying the moment. Kenny Dalglish. Arsenal have both substitutes warming up around the track.
I think really Kenny Dalglish is thinking that somebody needs to get control of the ball in the middle of the field, and he is probably one of the best players that's ever played in that position. So if his legs are good enough and he can do the running to go along with it, then it's a good decision.
Walsh. Johnston. So now time to go back and collect it. And still side netting. But he is cast in the role of the old comics, the wizard and things of days gone by, Craig Johnston. And the substitution is to be made. They're holding a number 9, it certainly won't be that. It's Paul Walsh who is to be replaced. And now Quinn is also to be substituted as Davies takes his place. And on comes Perry Groves. I know he'll take it in the right spirit if I suggest that he's the new lad. It's Dalglish who rightly claimed the initial attention. 17 minutes of the normal 90 remaining. It's Groves who gets the first touch. And he will inject a little bit of pace, Bobby, down that left side, Perry Groves.
Well, the lads seem to be labouring a little bit. You know, they feel a little leggy, I think. They've had a long, hard season, and the ground's probably a little bit tacky, and it takes a lot out of you. A lot of players seem to be trying to stop cramp from coming by giving themselves a little massage, but I think that any new blood is going to influence the match.
But the height of Quinn is not there for the free kick. Groves! Well, back to the comics again, or very nearly. Perry Groves, who has appeared at Wembley once before. But on that occasion he didn't get a header, as he did here in 1987. That occasion 7 years ago, he was a ball boy in the final between Arsenal and West Ham United. Arsenal lost, incidentally. Groves. Ball was out. Dalglish, at the moment playing behind the front two. Johnston and Rush, and Dalglish just behind them, number 12. Minutes away from the end of normal 90 minutes. Score now is at 1-1. If it still is, when the 90 minutes have elapsed, there will be half an hour of extra time. And the moment of respite gives me the chance to tell you that Dalglish is now 15 appearances at Wembley for Liverpool, 6 League Cups, 1 FA Cup, 1 European Cup and 7 Charity Shields. Williams, Davies. It's a contest of arms if ever I saw one. Oh, play sleeve it down. One by Adams. Don't think Kenny's got a touch yet. He didn't there either. Does now, but not for long. There he goes, waiting to go, given offside. Very tight.
I must say I'm quite surprised that Kenny Dalglish has brought himself on and put himself forward. I would have thought that they needed to get a grip of the ball in the middle of the field. Nevertheless, he has played up front. One does suggest, though, that he's getting a little long in the tooth, and to find the pace to play up front, I think is maybe asking a little bit too much of him. Arsenal seem much more positive and want to get forward with a lot more enthusiasm than Liverpool at the present time. And in the last 10 minutes, who can pick the winner?
Having the problem of all substitutes of adjusting to the pace of the game. Nicholas, taken with all the aplomb of a man who seems to be ready for the cricket season. Adams. And frankly, one of the greyhounds that used to run around this track would have struggled to make that. Johnston. Dalglish wants it back. It's the first time he's got it with a little bit of space. Mulby. And the flag was up for offside. I think he was well aware of that. He was turning away from the play.
We might well have an extra half hour to play here, judging from the attitude of the players. They seem to be intent on not making any silly mistakes in this last 5 or 10 minutes, and they're quite prepared to play the extra half hour. I think it's the mere fact that they're fearful of making a tragic mistake which will bring them nothing from their efforts from today. But it would seem that anyone who wanted to be positive and take the scruff of the neck, might actually win the game for the team.
Rush. Whelan. Johnston far side. Dalglish. Spackman. Dalglish. was a moment when the thought about having a go must have crossed Davies' mind. Perry Groves looking very lively and showing a lot of pace, but not enough to receive that.
What a good substitution Perry Groves has been. He's actually had a spring for a header which probably no one else was capable of, and he looks as though he wants to get forward, and he's using what pace he's got. The mere fact that he's come on and his fresh legs have proved really a very good substitution.
10 minutes away from the end of 90. 1-1 the score. And perhaps I should remind you that in this cup competition, 2 substitutes per team are allowed, unlike league matches when there's still only 1. Whelan, with a pushing, I think, by Rocastle. Challenged by Adams. Nicholas. Hayes. Viv Anderson is over this side. Williams, who plays the ball that Hayes could have played a few minutes ago. Grobbelaar comes to meet. Johnston for Liverpool. And by Davies to Rush. Mulby. Spackman square. Johnston comes into the area. Steve McMahon. Johnston goes wide now. Played early, but Spackman moved too soon. Didn't collect anyway, but the flag was up for offside. Nice check of the watch. We make it 8. Still 1-1. Sansom. Groves. He's away from Gillespie. Nicholas and Rocastle in the area. Nicholas! Yes! Got a deflection, I think. To go, and Arsenal have the lead, and it was the substitute who made it, and Nicholas who scored it. Groves away from Gillespie. Yes, it got a deflection. Grobbelaar was going the other way. I think it came off Ronnie Whelan. Yes, indeed it did. Arsenal make a second substitution, bringing Michael Thomas into the fray in place of Martin Hayes. So the countdown begins against the might of Liverpool and the record of Ian Rush. Before today, Liverpool had played 144 matches in which he'd scored. 122 have been won, 22 have been drawn, none had been lost. He scored today in the 145th, but Liverpool are on the wrong end of a 2-1 score. And on the North Bank at Highbury, which has moved to Wembley for the day, they believe the cup is theirs.
There's Perry Groves, and who can't say that the substitutes have actually had a bear on the result. He's done fantastically well whenever he's come on the field, since he's come on the field. He's been aggressive, he's been fast, he's been very aware, and very aware at that particular time of where Charlie was before he actually played the ball to him for the goal.
Free kick for instruction. And I think it might have pleased one or two old-timers, Bobby, to that he was a player with pace out on the flanks. And I'll tell you one it will please, and gives me a chance to say it, and that's Tom Finney, to whom we say happy birthday today on his 65th birthday. John Walk is the last Liverpool substitute. Presumably Bob Paisley now makes that decision, with a nod and a wink from Kenny Davies. Oh, that's a good try. Stevie Williams who struck it. Five minutes left. Arsenal 2, Liverpool 1. The same score as in 1971. Third time these two teams have met in a Wembley final. Arsenal have won the previous two. The other one was in 1950. The man scored 2 goals on that occasion too, on Reg Lewis. And I think I'm right in saying it was the same number shirt. Kenny Sansom. Michael Thomas determined to enjoy his few moments. Viv Anderson. Rocastle wants it, is offside. And John Walk makes sure this final will have been 13 aside. Got to wait a few seconds, and there are only 4 minutes left. And it's Steve McMahon who's to be replaced. Player who's been struggling with a groin injury ever since the game against Everton in the quarter-final stage of this competition. Signals going out as to how many minutes left. 3 fingers raised. Could be rather more than that in the glass later this evening if they hang on. Venison for Liverpool. Venison in danger of being a loser here twice for 2 different clubs. Thomas. Just banged away. Here's Ronnie Whelan, who's known the delight of scoring crucial goals against Spurs and against Manchester United. Now the unlucky one to have turned Nicholas' shot in past his own goalkeeper. David O'Leary. Davy Rocastle. Arsenal now with 2 19-year-olds on the pitch, he and Thomas. Davies. 2 minutes left. Nicholas. Groves is offside.
Well, no matter what happens on this last 2 minutes, it's been one of the best finals you could ever wish to see at Wembley. Very competitive, good stuff. The referees handled it well, lots of chances, and terrific commitment from all pros. Good professional performance by both teams.
Davies has seen the lead in the League Championship slip away. And now their invincibility in the League Cup competition is under the greatest possible threat. Spackman. Davies trying to play the dummy, but really he has been quite unable to get into the game. And we are now into the last minute. All the flags at one end, not one raised at the other. O'Leary away. Alan Hansen held the trophy here last May. Met by O'Leary, Ronnie Whelan, banged away by Kenny Sanson. Grobbelaar. Gillespie. Davies. Looking for Rush, but Rush was a few yards behind that. And the referee not seeing an infringement. Maybe an inquiry from Steve Williams to Mr. Shapka as to how long to go. Mr. Shapka looks at his watch. We're into stoppage time now. He's the Bonnie Prince this afternoon. George Graham comes out to meet his team. Arsenal are the first winners of the Littlewoods Cup. A lot of congratulations for Perry Groves, and justifiably. But the biggest smile is on the face of the bubbly one, Charlie Nicholas. I'm not sure that he's entirely answered the comments that were being made at half-time, but he's put the ball in the net twice, and that is what counts. Kenny Dalglish looking to shake the hands of the victors. And George Graham, in his first season as manager of Arsenal, has a piece of silverware to put on the sideboard as reward for their endeavours. Could not have imagined that it was possible. Consistently said that they weren't good enough to win the league championship, and he's been proved to be right in that. But here is a young side who have had a great season even before today, and have now proved it with something tangible. Congratulations for the referee, Lester Shapka, it should be said, had an excellent game. I don't know whether it's any easier for the losers to dismiss the defeat from their minds when they've had victory so often. I rather doubt it. But it's Liverpool who will go up first to receive their consolation trophies.
Well, Liverpool going up now for the runners-up medals. They've done that before, not very often, and they're good losers. They'll be back and they'll still be challenging at the end of this season and next and the season after that, without question. But Arsenal's young lads having the moment, and why not? They've contributed to a fantastic season in the Football League, and I think that the young lads have had the rewards justified today. I must say, in the last 20 minutes, Charlie Nicholas probably did more than he's done for Arsenal since he arrived in the place. He was available, he was controlled, and I think that he had a fantastic game. But Liverpool going up for the medals. Good luck to them, both.
So Alan Hansen, last May, came up to take the trophy. This time has to walk past it. Receives his memento, which in every case is a small replica of the trophy. But it is as runner-up for Barry Venison for the second time. Craig Johnson, who certainly worked his heart out. Ronnie Whelan, who had no luck at the end there, certainly can't blame himself, he had to go in for the challenge. Gary Gillespie. And Ian Rush, a loser for the first time in a Liverpool shirt when he has scored in the match. Backman John Wall. Whether he touched the ball or not, I'm not sure. And Kenny Dalglish hasn't often known what it's like to feel a loser, but he has today. And Kenny Sanson, complete with cap. It seems to be the ritual these days, cap or a scarf. raises the new trophy. I say new, it dates back to 1895 and used to be contested by the workers at the Furness shipyard. But it's now the Littlewoods Cup and goes to the winners of what used to be the League Cup. A trophy without handles, you note. Steve Williams certainly played his part. David Rocastle, the youngest player on the field. Martin Hayes, Paul Davies, one of the unsung heroes, Viv Anderson, Michael Thomas, who got into the action, Niall Quinn, Perry Groves, what a good substitution that was. Showed running power on the left and it proved vital. And Charlie Nicholas, who scored them both. Tony Adams and David O'Leary, who allowed Rush the one strike, but in the end it wasn't enough. George Graham, the Arsenal manager, what a start to his career in the chair at Highbury. And well done Lester Shapter of Torquay, really controlled the game quite superbly, along with his two linesmen, David Keane of Reading. It's a congratulation from Sir John Moores, from Philip Carter. Here's the substitute referee who wasn't needed, Brian Hill from Kettering, although his chance may well come here in a final at Wembley. David Keane of Reading and Fred Young of York. All contributed to an excellent afternoon in which the Littlewoods Cup has been decided, and it has the name of Arsenal as the first one to be printed. The Liverpool players going round, and the players who missed the old crocs, as Mark Lawrenson called them at half-time, in which he said his prayers that Rush's record would not go here at Wembley fell on deaf ears, because it has. Always the contrast, the delight for the team photograph. And the despair of the losers. There were long spells at the beginning, first half an hour indeed, when they seemed to be in control, just short of the half an hour in fact, but that was when Arsenal equalised. And then at the start of the second half, when Liverpool seemed to be in control. But Arsenal came back in the way they did against Tottenham Hotspur in the semi-final, and they seemed to be out of it. Fought their way to Wembley and have gone home with the trophy, and their victory is being very well received by the opposition supporters. Getting a good hand as they go around the Liverpool end. They're the 18th winner of the League Cup, but as they get applauded at one end, so the Arsenal supporters applaud the departure of Liverpool at the other. And Bruce Grobbelaar among those applauding the Arsenal supporters. Once again, this League Cup has produced an excellent spirit on the field and on the terraces and in the stands. Scenes that they remember for many days. Kenny Sanson, the ambition achieved. Perry Groves doing the jig. What a smile to go with the moustache. And what a smile there must be on the face of the Arsenal manager, who is now talking to Bob Wilson.
George, you've had some marvellous moments in your playing career that this probably tops a lot.
Yeah, this is very nice actually, because you can't do it on the field, so you've just got to rely on the players on the day, and I thought they were magnificent.
The fact that it was against Liverpool, such a great club, also added to your pleasure?
Yes, because Liverpool are they're the team. They're the team over the last decade at least. And to come here and beat them, especially being the underdogs, because I don't think anybody gave us much chance. Tremendous.
But they came back brilliantly.
Yes, I thought Liverpool played very well in spasms. But we always looked very good on the break. Very pleased.
George, thanks very much and congratulations here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And here comes Kenny Sansom. Kenny, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You've had some great moments as an international, but as a player, this tops a lot.
I think this takes some beating. This is the best feeling in my life. My football career is absolutely fantastic. It's my little boy Aaron.
Congratulations.
Right, well, if you have been out mowing the lawn this afternoon and wonder what all that excitement's about, I can tell you that it's Arsenal have won the Littlewoods Challenge Cup, and they did it as a result of this action.
Look at them poised. You think it was just out of 100 metres. Davies hit the wall. Sansom. Anderson. Adams. Nicholas off the post. Anderson. Yes, it's gone in. It's Charlie. Charlie Nicholas has done it. What a succession of near things before Charlie Nicholas becomes the hero of the North Bank and most of North London. Anderson initially, Adams got the touch there, up came Nicholas, it came off the post, Anderson out again, Nicholas makes the touch here, and it's 1-1. Sansom. Groves moves away from Gillespie, Nicholas and Rocastle in the area, Nicholas, yes! Got a deflection, I think. The substitute who made it, and Nicholas who scored it. Groves away from Gillespie. Yes, it got a deflection. Grobbelaar was going the other way. I think it came off Ronnie Whelan. Yes, indeed it did.
Well, there we are, back with the jubilant Arsenal supporters, and disappointed Liverpool ones all have made their way down. We know how it happened. We saw it with our own ideas, but why did that, Trevor? I mean, you kept up your sequence.
I thought George Graham and Kenny Sansom could have thanked me, particularly Liverpool. I was a bit upset then.
They might have done. They'll get round to it, don't you worry. And all the people who made money on you.
I think if you look at George's season, last month has been very disappointed. They've petered away in the league and the FA Cup, so it's great for his young team, and I'm sure this won't be the last time they'll be at Wembley.
Yeah. Players that took your eye particularly?
Well, of course, Charlie's going to get the headlines and need 2 goals, and little deflection off Ronnie Whelan, wrong-footed Bruce Grobbelaar. I think 2 key players, Viv Anderson, motored forward in the second half at a critical stage in the game, and Paul Davies, who I thought was superb in midfield.
Yeah. Charlie Nicholas' enigma, really, is quite extraordinary. I think we have him at the moment. Bob Wilson is talking to the hero of the afternoon, Charlie Nicholas.
Charlie, you had some great moments at Celtic, but this one today at Arsenal you've been waiting for a while.
Yeah, it's took me along 4 hard years, and it's been worth every minute waiting this. I mean, people say it's only the Littlewoods trophy, but it's the biggest one for us.
Amazing comeback, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, when Rushy scores, you think, Christ, that's us beating again. But it's the first time they've lost since when he scored, and we're absolutely delighted.
Congratulations to you and to the rest of the lads.
Cheers, brother, thanks.
Delighted they should be, and so it's goodbye from an excitable Wembley Stadium still for a Wembley final that lived up to the highest expectations.